Yeah, please wait. I'm just opening the presentation. Now this is visible. This presentation questionnaire design.
No, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Visible.
Yes, sir. Now it is visual.
Okay. Yeah, it took a lot of time. Something has happened in between. So this is questionnaire design. This is visible. So I'm just moving it. I'm just opening the presentation, and these are the learning objectives for the chapter. And before the learning objective, I'll just be taking up what is questionnaire. Huh? What is questionnaire that we have discussed that in the last chapter. What we have discussed in the last chapter, can you recall that? Anybody in the class?
Yes, sir. So we did questionnaire design. So
Hmm.
you told us that if we want to measure psychological properties, then we mostly use interval scale. And
Hmm.
there are two types of scale, basically parametric scales and non-parametric scales. So you gave us few
Hmm.
examples like single item scale, multiple item scale, multiple choice scales are mostly those which tend to collect nominal data. Forced choice
Right,
ranking
right.
scales are those which collect ordinal data. Then there is paired
Hmm.
comparison matrix, which is ordinal
Hmm.
scale. And
Hmm.
you told us that there is direct question scale also, in which ratio information is collected. For example, how much is your salary and what is your age, or questions like this.
Hmm.
Then
Yeah.
you told us that for using interval scale, we use Likert type of format, Likert scale basically.
Right, right.
And the
Fine, fine.
question should be homogeneous. For example, all the questions should be negative, or all the questions should be framed in a positive manner. Only
Yeah,
then we can collect consistent information from respondents.
yeah, yeah.
And next, you also told us that if we want, we can convert our scales, for example, from ratio to ordinal, if we want to apply some certain techniques to
Hmm.
the data. And then, sir, in the
Definitely.
last, you told us about Cronbach alpha, that
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is the ideal value, that is zero point 0.7 is acceptable, and when
yeah,
we should delete items, when we should not delete items, all of these
yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, very well. This is very good that all these things we have discussed. All these things we have discussed for one sake only, that ultimately we are going to present an instrument to respondents we are going to present an instrument to respondents means ultimately respondents are going to evaluate the concern of interest with the help of a questionnaire. With the help of a questionnaire may not be the random arrangement of statement or my understanding. As I've told you earlier, that there's a lot of difference between story writing and conducting research systematically. Why am I supposed to conduct my research systematically? Because anyhow, anyway, I would be evaluated by research qualified people. When I am in the process of research, either maybe in MTech, maybe in MBA, or maybe anywhere in PhD program, we would be evaluated by the qualified researchers, and these people, those who are qualified in research, are going to ask multiple questions pertaining to methodology. So we are supposed to conduct the research, whatever may be the each and every subject has got its own different methodology. But we are supposed to understand that something is being known as the wide way of understanding. Wide way of understanding is the fundamental way of understanding where we are supposed to write anything in terms of research language. What happens that last time I was conducted, nowadays we conduct many online vivas and many online interviews. So last time I was conducting one online viva for one PhD scholar, and that PhD scholar presented it like a class of psychology. It was a very good presentation. If I would have attended that class of psychology, I would have given 10 out of 10 because that was a very good class of psychology. But I asked the question that where is the element of research in this class of psychology? I may be able to take a class on motivational aspects. I may be able to deliver well. I may be able to write well. But when I'll be conducting a research on motivation, I will have to apply systematic procedure to cater motivation of individuals. So a questionnaire is the instrument in our hand. A questionnaire is going to cater the hidden feelings of individuals. Again, I'm taking the example of buying intention. But I'm saying that if you would be systematically replacing buying intention from the figure, so you may be able to conduct the research in the similar aspect for which you are conducting the research using buying intention. So questionnaire is the set of questions designed to obtain the specific responses from the respondents. Now questionnaire, what is important that I must be understanding that my questionnaire must be first able to address my research objective, which is why I'm saying that there's a lot of difference between my story understanding, story writing, poetry writing, and research. My imagination may be the base of my poetry writing or my story writing, but when I would be writing a research paper, I would be evaluated by the qualified researchers. In the light of that, I will have to follow the systematic pattern of research, which is being considered well by the global experts. So questionnaire is that thing by which I would be able to assess the feeling or underlying intentions of any individuals or any respondent. That is questionnaire, is the set of questions. But these set of questions may not be coming from isolation. These set of questions should, and I'm going to ask these things. What am I saying? I'll be, after winding up chapter number 5, I would be sending first class assignment, and in that first class assignment you will be required to frame the questionnaire for the topic which you will be deciding. So I'll be sending that after winding up chapter number 5. What am I saying? That in the assignment I'll be asking this question. You should be understanding this in that aspect also, that your questionnaire should be able to accommodate your theoretical model. So in no way your title, there would be a title, there would be a theoretical model, there would be the hypothesis, there would be the research question, there would be the questionnaire, and sampling procedure. All these so your first assignment would broadly be based on your title, scientifically framed, not assumed, your theoretical model, then your research questions, then hypothesis, there is sampling, sample size, sampling procedure, and lastly, questionnaire construction. So all these would be the components of your first assignment, which I'll be sending after winding up chapter number 5. So one thing we'll have to understand, and in that questionnaire, in that assignment, I'll be specifically mentioning that in no way there should be the link distortion. Title to questionnaire, there would always be a suitable link. So my title of the research is going to indicate my theoretical model. My theoretical model is going to generate research questions. Research questions are going to generate hypothesis. Hypothesis would always be testing using sample size, sampling procedure and all. And then my questionnaire must be able to accommodate well my theoretical model. So what would be the first assignment? Your first assignment based on first 5 chapters would always be catering the preliminary foundation of research. And then I'll collect data laterly. When I'll take at one stretch, I'll take first 5 chapters. Then in the second go, I'll be taking the remaining 4 chapters. And after winding up remaining 4 chapters, I'll take the assignment number 2. After first 5 chapters, I'll take assignment number 1. So one thing must be very much clear, that all these, what am I discussing today, would be the discussion for our assignment also, right? Is this okay to you?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So now you see that our questionnaire has got pre-construction phase, construction phase, and post-construction phase. So we have got some 3-4 steps in pre-construction. We have got some steps in construction phase, and we have got some steps in post-construction. So today I'll complete some of the aspects of part 1 and some of the aspects of part 2. Means pre-construction I'll completely cover, and construction phase I'll partly cover. So this pre-construction phase has got the first thing, which is the step number 1 of creating the questionnaire. Step number 1 of creating the questionnaire would always be my research objective. So even assignment number 1 is being based on this. I will have to prepare my first, before preparing the questionnaire, I'll have to prepare my theoretical model. I would again be saying, I would be reiterating, my theoretical model in this context is, in the context of our class, is by default buying intention. So when buying intention theoretical model is being constructed, after that I would be framing research questions, and on the basis of that I would be setting hypothesis. Hypothesis is the issue of chapter number 10 of the book. So while, because we cannot first take chapter number 10 and then I'll be telling you to set the hypothesis. Right now, because you are in the PG classes, you are supposed to consult chapter number 10 to frame the hypothesis. If hypothesis would be wrongly framed, no problem. We are supposed to correct it in the second assignment, because the assignments which I'm going to send to you would always be having the sequential linkage. Sequential linkage means assignment number 1 would be based on first 5 chapters. Then assignment number 2 would be a little bit modification of the original concept, but blueprint of the research would be ready. And lastly, you are supposed to, the last part of the discussion which I'll be conducting would be based on the appropriate technique of data analysis. For that, I would take chapter number 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and probably 15. Like that I'll take. Some of the techniques like confirmatory and exploratory and all these, I may not be able to take in the light of the online classes. But that would be a technique only. You would be able to conceptualize the research well, and you would be able to apply any of the suitable technique being given in the book, or not be, or the techniques which are not being available in the book. This book which is being presented to you is going to cater the model course of content, but this is not being limited to these chapters only. If we would take it to the further understanding, we are having variety of other techniques. This book is going to deal with the multivariate techniques, but we are having multi-criteria and many other techniques are being available. But one thing must be very much clear, that there is no importance of any technique until and unless I would make the sound foundation of my research. We would like to understand the sound foundation of this research with the help of the assignment number 1. So when we would be winding up the course in the month of April, by the end of April, we would be wind up the course. When we would be at that stage, what would we be understanding? For the course, we would not be collecting the data. I would be giving you the freedom to assume the data and apply the techniques. Lastly, for the real research, you'll have to collect the data. So in the manner I would be presenting you the assignment number 1 and assignment number 2 and the end term exam, whatever would be the nomenclature of the exams, ultimately these are going to cover the figure which is being given in chapter number 2, which is being specified as business research process design. So we are going to cater that figure. There would be only one problem, there would be only one limitation, that for our research, because we are having the time limitation, we may not be able to collect the data. So I'll be giving you the liberty to use the hypothetical data, but other than then you apply all the aspects of the research. So the first thing which is the issue is the research objective, which in the light of the research objective only I am supposed to frame the questionnaire. In no way I am allowed to use my imagination or my understanding and my, you see that this is not the issue of testing my imagination or my ability of imagining something. This is not like that. Whatever would I be framing in terms of questions of the questionnaire, all these would be having the literature reference. Without the literature, I am not allowed to take up anything. This is number 1. Number 2, overview of the respondents' characteristics are to be examined. So I'll have to understand that if I may be able to, because I'm a person who is research literate. So what I feel that others are also like that, and this is important also. This is not at all important because we are in the class of research methodology, which is why we are studying research methodology. But those who are not studying research methodology and those who are not being involved in the process of conducting the research, why would they be studying research methodology? You have not studied history because you don't require that. This was not your subject, right? So this is not required for you, which is why you have not studied. So those who are not in the business of research, they'll not be studying research methodology. But those who would not be studying the research methodology would always be the part of our sample. So one thing we'll have to understand, that I'm not framing the questionnaire for myself. I'm framing the questionnaire for others. Others are the common respondents, and these respondents are going to respond the questionnaire. Questionnaire is the instrument of research in my hand. I'm going to cater the questions, I'm going to cater the answers through the questionnaire, and I'm saying that this is the instrument. I mean to say that this is the instrumental equipment in my hand to conduct the research. So I'll have to really understand the qualification, age, cultural, educational background of the respondent in order to get the right responses. In the class, we would be covering this aspect also when we'll be taking it further. Next part is that this is the appropriate survey technique is to be decided. Chapter number 7 is being specifically designed to take up the survey techniques in detail and its relative advantages and disadvantages. Whatever would be the survey technique, I'll have to justify that academically. After academic justification, there's no meaning of survey technique. For example, I'm saying that I'm conducting a cross-cultural study. For that cross-cultural study, I am taking 20 countries into my consideration for my research. And I'm saying that though I'm not having these kind of resources, I'm saying that in 3 months, I'll be collecting data by personal interviews. That would not be possible. Research would always be having the time, cost, and resources limitations. This would always be over there. You are not allowed to conduct the research for 25 years. Even if you be coming up with a very good finding for most of the researches, barring few, if your outcome is going to be presented after 25 years, no taker would be available after 25 years. Is this clear to you? These are the first 3 steps of the research. Then we'll move to construction phase. If you wish to ask any question, you can ask questions. Anybody? Yes,
No, sir.
Chaitanya, you wish to? Yeah, Harshit, yeah.
Sir, no doubts, I'm saying that.
No doubt.
Sir,
Yes,
it's clear.
Chaitanya?
Sir, clear.
Yeah. Okay. What happens sometimes class would be disconnected and I would not be knowing and I'll be speaking for maybe for 10 minutes and then it happened many times. Then after 10 minutes, somebody has called me, somebody has told me, sir, the class got disconnected. And I asked the question when? They said, sir, 5-10 minutes ago. So I'll have to ask in between, right? This class connectivity is being there or not. So you're supposed to answer, and in terms of answering, you may be able to ask the questions also. But this is the second phase of the questionnaire construction. This is having the 6 steps, and I'm going to take up all these in detail. One thing which is very much important, that my questions should be open-ended questions. They should, and these are to be closed-ended questions. One thing I'll have to understand, that my open-ended questions are the general question, that like I'll be asking a question that what is your favorite food? Because I'm catering the something pertaining to the famous company of food production. Then because I'm not being clear about anything, so I'll first be framing the open-ended question. Open-ended questions, as being indicated from the name only, are the open-ended. I'll just be asking something and somebody is going to respond that in the detail, and I'm going to write paragraphs on that. But open-ended questions are generally being used for exploratory research or for pilot study. Exploratory research and pilot study we conduct for the sake of understanding of the phenomena of research. But research is not being conducted on the basis of open-ended questions. Research is being conducted on the basis of closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions are the questions which we studied in chapter number 3 on the basis of the rating scale. So on the basis of the rating scale, the questions we have used are being taken as the closed-ended questions. And please note down that closed-ended questions means questions which are being rated on an interval scale or like that are being considered for descriptive and conclusive research. Open-ended questions are being used for opening up the dimension. When I'm in the process of opening up the dimension, I'm going to use the open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are, as the name is very clear, so there should not be any doubt that for our research, which we would take, for our research, we are going to use closed-ended questions. But sometimes, most of the times, research issues are not clear. So I first cast the closed open-ended questions to understand the phenomena of research, and then I'll move to the closed-ended questions for taking up the research further. So the general research is being based on closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions are having some of the these are the examples of open-ended questions. There is no rating scale. I'm just asking that who is your favorite business figure? And like that, I'll be asking few questions because I wish to have the your understanding for these questions. These are the open-ended questions. Mark it that we never use open-ended questions for conclusive research. And because we are in the class of research methodology, postgraduate research methodology class, or any class of research methodology, which means we are bound to conclude the research using closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions are structured, and obviously our research is structured, which means open-ended questions were unstructured. Very good. Open-ended questions were unstructured, and these were required to be unstructured. Our journey is from unstructured to structured, because unstructured is also important. I'm not saying that we are in the process of ignoring unstructured. Everything is unstructured in the beginning. I'm the person who is a researcher. I'm supposed to structure it. So this is from scattered to structured. This is from unstructured to structured. So we must not be thinking that because I am the researcher, which is why this world would also be the researcher. World is going to present you the unstructured phenomena. Because you are a person who is research literate, or who is having the research qualification, you are going to structure that. So which we will have to understand that from unstructured, closed, open-ended questions, we are supposed to generate closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions were required to understand the thing which you cannot cater by asking the closed-ended questions. So, but closed-ended questions would always be considered for the structured research. So structured questions are important, which are being based on unstructured understanding. So this is the issue which we'll have to understand. Now, when we'll be asking questions, that we'll be having the questions in terms of yes and no. So yes and no may not be the good way of asking. We are supposed to present a reasonable neutral option. So we are asking can't say. Can't say is also an option. Multiple choice questions. These are the examples of multiple choice questions. Now we must be very much clear, and I'll be taking up this in detail. Decision regarding question wording. What words are to be used for asking questions, and how would I be able to get the information from the respondents? So what words are to be asked? So this is the decision regarding question wording. So these points are to be considered for question wording. So one by one we will be taking these question wording. We must be very much clear. The first way of asking, what is your perception about the new advertisement campaign? What am I presuming by asking this question? That everybody in the world has attended some of the classes of psychology, and they are understanding the meaning of perception. Most of the times people are not having the general information, but although you would like to have their view on certain issue of research. So I would be making the questions very simple, because I am saying that I am writing my research paper for international review, and I am preparing my questionnaire for general public. These two are two different things. My research paper, which ultimately would be based on the questionnaire, would be reviewed by international reviewers. So they'll be understanding everything better than me. But my questionnaire would ultimately be administered to general persons, general people. They may not be able to understand that thing. So whether this would be translated in the local language or maybe in any other language, technical words must be avoided while framing the questions, number one. Number two, that we must be avoiding the vague or ambiguous words. Vague or ambiguous words that I must be often, occasionally, usually, how long, how much, and all these reasonably well. These kind of words must be avoided. Ultimately, I'm going to quantify that. I'm going to quantify their answers. So their answers must be quantified in terms of some definitive answers. So all these vague words must be avoided, as much as possible, there is no guideline available. For research, some of the scientific guidelines are being available, but most of the times our rule of thumb is our guideline. My general understanding is my guideline. So for a very specific research, if I would like to use usually, and I'm justifying it, that for my research, this is important. Nobody can stop me from using the word usually. So this is what is the general use. Double-barreled questions must be avoided. Double-barreled questions means I'm assuming that the first part of the question is having the yes answer, and then I'm presenting the second part of the question. Just for the example, I'm asking that on weekend, would you prefer an outing with your family? I'm assuming yes, and I'm asking, and which is your favorite outing spot? The right way of asking that this question must be split in two parts. I should first be asking the decent part. On weekend, you would like to move outside. If the answer is no, why would I be asking the second part? Because that person is not qualified for my research. So I'll not be asking this question. So double-barreled questions must be avoided as much as possible. Avoid leading and loaded questions. Leading questions means sometimes I'm having my understanding of the, most of the time it happens that we people are being biased. Nobody is unbiased in the world. So we people are being biased by something. Right? That may be right, that may be wrong. So suppose I'm being convinced with the particular issue of the product, particular feature of the product, and I'm asking a question by emphasizing that are you happy with this feature of the product, emphasizing on happiness, then definitely I'll be getting the yes answer. The respondent is sitting outside. He is not interested in your research. You are supposed to generate his interest in the research. Otherwise, he is busy in his own struggle of life. Why would he be interested in our research? So this kind of leading questions must be avoided, and the loading questions must always be avoided. That I'll be asking a question that every patriotic Indian would be using this. So answer would obviously be yes. So these kind of leading questions and the loaded questions, which are being based on the wide societal acceptance. If I'll be asking a question that are you honest, who will say that I'm not honest? Everybody would say that I'm honest. So these questions, these are being taken as the loaded questions, must be avoided as much as possible. Now, in order to get the leading question and loaded question, if suppose this is important, we apply the split-barreled technique. Split-barreled technique is what? If I'm supposed to ask a question, I'll be asking it first. A fully automatic washing machine is better than the semi-automatic washing machine. Fully automatic washing machine is better, the first part. So I'm having the tendency of either picking up the first part or the last part. If I'll be presenting this question like this every time, I may be able to get the biased responses. So I'll be asking, rephrasing this question, reversing the sequence of the question, a semi-automatic machine. So sometimes I'll ask like this, a fully automatic. Sometimes in some 50% of the questionnaire, this would be the question. In 50% of the questionnaire, the second way of the asking questions would be the way of asking. Is this clear?
Yes,
You
sir.
wish to ask any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, clear.
Achha, Gaurav, clear? Yeah, very good. Very good. Now, avoid using overstated words. Overstated words must be avoided. Huh? What may be the answer would always, if you would ask a question like that, a survey revealed that hepatitis cases are increasing like that, would you be purchasing a water purifier? Obviously, when you have created fear in the minds of the respondents, their answer would always be biased. Instead of creating a fear and obtaining a biased responses, I would ask a question in more poised manner, in more balanced manner, and I would say that, have you got the intentions to purchase water purifier in coming 6 months, which can protect you from many waterborne diseases? Instead of asking the question in the first manner, I should be asking the questions in the second manner. Implied assumptions must be avoided as much as possible. What is the implied assumption? I'm having some favor for company A, and I'm asking this question emphasizing that do you think company A should continue with its incentive scheme? That means I'm happy with the incentive scheme of company A, and I'm asking this question in order to get the yes answer. A more balanced way of asking the question, do you like a discount scheme on bulk purchase as provided by company A? More balanced way. And in the manner I'll be asking a question, if I'll be emphasizing on some particular word, there would be the different answers coming up. Most of the times I'll have to read the questions for the respondents. Respondents are not going to read the questions. So all these things are important, we are supposed to understand. Now their memory should not be over text. Memory should not be over text means I'm supposed to answer the question not over texting their memory. I should not be asking that in past 2 months, how many classes you have attended. If I'll be asking this question, would you be able to answer how many online classes you have attended?
No, sir.
You would be able to answer how many classes? Many classes. So should I be answering many? So many. Variety of classes. Even if I'll be asking these questions and if I'll be getting the responses like this, I'll be having a lot of difficulty in quantifying that. Which is why I would be using closed-ended, intervally rated questions, because ultimately I'll have to take it up. I'll have to take all these for my further analysis. Whatever you we respondents are going to respond, that would be tabulated. That would be after tabulation. That would be analyzed. Please take my words when I'm saying that would be analyzed. I mean to say that would be analyzed for one sec only. Otherwise, now all these softwares are being available. What analysis I can present? Would I be making bar chart and histogram and pie chart out of that? And would that be the research? Many people, they think that would be the research. That may be the research for BBA product. For BBA kind, this bachelor degree, that may be the research. But for masters and for PhD, that would never be the research. I'll have to come up with solid literature review. So whatever assignment I'll be sending to you, that must be, and whatever model you would be presenting, theoretical model, that should be having the solid literature support. So literature review is the first most important thing. When I'm saying that literature review, I mean to say that your research, whatever would be your research, whatever novel idea you have got, should be in the line of available researches. Or if there is a deviation is to be highlighted in the line of the available researches. I may not be allowed to move in an isolation without concerning the previous researches, because those researches have already, I'm just giving you an example. In organizational behavior, there was the example that they conducted a lot of research, and after conduction of a lot of research, they concluded that job satisfaction of the employees is leading to productivity of the employees. Job satisfaction of the employees is going to lead productivity of the employees. This was being established and this was being debated, and after a debate with solid experimental background, they altered the statement and they say no, this is partially correct. They changed it and they said that productivity of the employees is going to lead to job satisfaction. The previous understanding was being reversed on the basis of refined understanding, but there was the space for previous understanding also. So which is why we'll have to understand that whatever would be the research, even if you would like to change the research, if you would like to challenge the research, that is always being allowed, but you are supposed to quote the previous research. In no way we are supposed to discard the previous research. So previous research is to be taken into consideration. Many times, many researchers, they write some, and they call it qualitative research. They'll write some articles. So suppose I'm writing an article and I'm saying that this theory, suppose theory X is being over there, and I'm saying that I'm challenging theory X, but I'm challenging theory X academically, right? Theory X was right at one point of time. I'm not saying that, and in no way I'm saying that the author of theory X was very bad and like that. This was theory X. I'm having counter arguments. Theory X was being published somewhere in the quality journal. No problem. My contribution is theory Y. I am presenting that these are the counters of theory X, and I am presenting counter of theory X in the same journal where theory X has already been published. And same journal 10 years ago presented theory X, because I am the researcher and I'm the qualified researcher, and using all the scientific patterns of the research, I'm challenging theory X and I'm presenting theory Y, and I'm presenting that in the same journal. So same journal which has given space to theory X is now presenting theory Y using my research. So in no way we would be able to say that the previous research was bad. On the basis of the research X, we are coming to research Y, and research Y is the background of research Z and is the background of PQRS. So which is why we are supposed to understand that we are supposed to follow the scientific way of research. Just coming back to the questionnaire part, the generalization and estimation.
Can I ask a question? Sir, it's regarding the model part which you discussed.
Yeah.
So, sir, when we go through the literature and we form a model for a study, so I'll take one example. For example, I have already gone through some literature, and there is support that employee engagement leads to innovative behavior at workplace. So, sir, this type of relationship is already being established in various sectors, but in some sectors, this relationship is not explored. So, if we try to explore this particular established relationship in some sector, for example, in higher education, would that be counted as a model or not? Because that relationship is already explored in some other sectors. I just want to explore the established relationship in some different sectors. So would that be an original model or not?
That would obviously be an original model, because the model which you are supposed to use, which has already been established in some other sectors. So I'm saying that you are saying that employee engagement is leading to innovative behavior. This is what is our model, right?
Yes, sir.
So what am I saying? That this is being established in manufacturing sector, and you would like to use in academic sector, right?
Yes, sir.
So you may be able to take up a model and you may be able to conceptualize it using some of the variables which are being prevailing in academics, which are not being prevailing in manufacturing. So you have got all the right to change the model, but whatever you are going to do, you are supposed to take up the literature support for that. So with the help of the literature support, using the old model of employee engagement, you generate your own model of employee engagement for academic sector, and then you support it by literature and go ahead, collect the data, or develop a theory. The same theory is being valid for the academics or not, that you are supposed to check with the help of the empirical data.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes.
But that you will have to test, and you'll have to test it, and when you would be able to publish, and it requires years and years, maybe 30 years and 40 years to contribute in the academic body of knowledge. We people are always in hurry, and we people always believe that I'm supposed to contribute in the academic body of knowledge. अभी आप जो किताब पढ़ते हो ना, जो भी किताब आप पढ़ रहे हैं किसी भी विषय की, तो उस विषय की किताब पढ़ने के लिए जो भी आपकी किताब है, कोई भी किताब हो सकती है जो आप पढ़ते हैं, वो रिसर्च से ही जनरेट हुई है. उस किताब के कंटेंट को उन्होंने रिसर्च के बेस पे ही आगे किया है, चाहे वो एमटेक वाले पढ़ रहे हो, चाहे वो एमबीए वाले पढ़ रहे हो, चाहे वो पीएचडी वाले पढ़ रहे हो. ठीक है, तो वो कंटेंट यूनिवर्सल है, तो उसके ऑथर ने रिसर्च किया नहीं शायद, तो उसने रिसर्च को सिस्टमेटिकली कंपाइल कर दिया और उसको कंपाइल करके क्लासरूम टीचिंग के लिए एक बुक तैयार करी. लेकिन वो बुक जो है वो रिसर्च से डेविएटेड नहीं है. That book is always having a background of research. Whatever book you are using for the text reference in your MTech classes, these would always be having the research reference, which is why And if you see what happens that sometimes books are having liberty to not use the researches. Lekin main ek baat, there's one thing that I'm saying, that something is being known Z formula. The Z formula is being invented by one statistician. P value, just for the sake of reference only, P value is being invented by one statistician. What is happening? That same P value is going to be used by management researchers, by MTech researchers. This P value is actually probability value. Probability was being invented by Fisher maybe 200 years ago, 150 years ago. So, but the concept of probability is being applied now. And the concept of probability is being applied. And what is happening? Since last 20 years, 25 years, we people are using softwares to generate the result. 25, 30 years ago, people used to use calculators. Before, some maybe 70 years ago, 60 years ago, even calculators were not being available. Then people used to use their own computations. But the formula is not going to be changed. Now, Z formula, you are not supposed to even use calculators. Softwares with the programming are being available, and these are going to give you the result. But the result which you are going to get either by manual computation or by calculator computation or by software computation is going to be interpreted in the similar manner. So ultimately, when 12 2 is 24, I am doing it manually, I am using calculator for it, I am using software for it. Ultimately, this 24 is what? Is kilogram, is liters, is millimeters, is what? And in what context? That I'll have to explain, which is why softwares are important, but I always repeat that concept of the research is more important. Is this clear to you?
Yes, sir, clear.
Yeah.
Understood.
Very. Now, one thing is important, that ability to answer must be considered. Sometimes I'm asking a question to you in terms of using the internet banking. You all are the users, but a 70-year person may not be the user. So I should not be asking a question if somebody is not the user. Suppose I'm asking a question, second part, suppose I'm asking a question pertaining to pre-liberalization. You people have not seen pre-liberalization. They have not seen, many of you may have not seen pre-liberalization, because we are having the PhD classes, and in the PhD people also, and they are the senior people. So they may have seen the pre-liberalization. Pre-liberalization means, I am 1991 industrial policy, new industrial policy was being unveiled, and I am taking 1995 as the cut mark. So somebody was there as the consumer in before 1995 or not, that I'll have to check before asking a question. So all these things must be considered. Then in the next class, we are going to consider decision regarding question sequencing. So in the next class, on Wednesday, from 2 to 3, I'll wind up this chapter, and after that, I'll take 1 or 2 classes, and after that, you all, after next Friday, you must be ready for the assignment. Around next Friday, sorry, this is not next Friday, around next Wednesday, I'll be sending you the first assignment or test or question paper or minor, whatever you would like to name, for 25 marks. You wish to ask any question, please?
Sir, our next class is on Friday, right?
Yeah. We are having classes Wednesday 1 to 1:50 and Friday 2 to 3.
Okay.
Is this okay, Abdullah?
Yes, sir. So next we will meet on Friday.
Wednesday and Friday. I have told you that earlier, that don't give this time slot to anybody. Wednesday and Friday we'll be having the classes. If there would be any need of changing that, I'll be giving you the prior information for that.
So I just asked it because you said Wednesday now. That's why I asked. Sir.
नहीं यार, Wednesday Friday दोनों.
Okay.
Friday 2 to 3. खाली Wednesday थोड़ी बोला है मैंने.
Okay.
ठीक है ना, Abdullah? This is for Wednesday, Friday. Wednesday 1 to 1:50 I'll take. Friday 2 to 3 I'll take, and I'm bound to take. I'll take it Wednesday and Friday. And if there would be any change in the in this time slot, I would certainly be sending you an information, official information for that. Is this fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So don't give
Yes,
this
sir.
time slot to anybody. Huh? Wednesday 1 to 1:50 and Friday 2 to 3. And I'm having the free time slots. If sometimes if I'll not be able to take up, I'll accordingly intimating you, and then there may be the possibility that maybe next week, maybe any time I'll not be able to take it up. Then I'll be informing you that accordingly.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Abdullah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. You wish to ask any? This would be 25 for first component, 25 for second component, and 50 for the last component. This may be assignment, this may be question paper, this may be a minor one exam, whatever you would like to say. And you would not be getting the direct answers in the book. This would be the open book also. Obviously, this would be open book, obviously. And I'm going to give you 8 to 10 days for writing the answers. So broadly, we are going to cover first 5 chapters, and what the even questions would, even maybe understanding would be very simple. This would be framing a research topic, and then framing a theoretical model, then framing research questions, then hypothesis, then sampling and all that, and then lastly questionnaire design based on first 5 chapters. So no way you'd be getting this directly anywhere, and you're supposed to present the handwritten answer sheets, PDF of that.
Okay, sir.
I'll be providing you all the information. So all the detail I'll be providing is there would not be any confusion, and if there would be any confusion, I'll be able to clear that in the next class. Right? You wish to ask anything else, or this is okay? Now there should not be any confusion, please. Wednesday and Friday, Wednesday 1 to 1:50 and Friday 2 to 3, I'll take my class. In case of any change, I'll intimate you accordingly. Abdullah, now I feel that there's no confusion.
Yes, sir. No confusion.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm leaving. Right? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for attending class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.